So Brighton and Moises Caicedo are going to make bank this January. I actually do believe that he's going to make that move this January. Moises Caicedo, for those of you that may not have been aware, Moises Caicedo has handed in a transfer request to Brighton. He wants to leave, and he has Chelsea and Arsenal interested. At first, Chelsea were the ones that were interested, and it looked like he would actually go to Chelsea. But recent news actually makes it tilt towards Arsenal. And I wanted to make this video because I was thinking, who could be the better choice for him to go to? Or not just for him, but which team actually needs him more? I already said in my previous video that Chelsea should sign Caicedo. I think he's probably the closest person there is to Kante in world football. Obviously, nobody can really replicate what Kante used to do, but he's actually the closest in my mind. And I actually think Chelsea really need him. Compared to Arsenal, where will he really play? I'm just looking at it like, yeah, Arsenal should go for him. He's a very good player. They should go for him. But where will he really play? In my opinion, Thomas Partey is probably the most important midfielder in the Premier League. May not be the best. We all know we are in this football world now where tapping merchants like Erling Haaland are the ones that are being heralded as the best players. But in terms of important players, Thomas Partey and players like Casemiro for Manchester United are the most important players in the Premier League this season. So I don't really see Caicedo benching Partey. And I also don't see him benching Xhaka. Maybe you could make an argument that maybe he could bench Xhaka, but Xhaka is not just about the football. It's about the leadership that he brings, the chemistry that he creates on the field. Because he's like an elder statesman in the team, in a very young team for that matter. So he provides that leadership in the team. So it's not really necessarily about the skills or his gameplay. It's about the leadership. You can't really bench him. And I get it. Arsenal don't really have any depth. We also what Lokonga did against Manchester City. I'm not sure he can help Arsenal if any of those two players have an issue. So I get it. Lokonga is useless. Elneny seems like he's going to be out for the remainder of the season, or at least most of the remainder of the season. So Arsenal needs a midfielder that can actually fill in for any of those two guys if any of them gets injured. So they actually need a player like that. But for what Brighton will probably ask for in January, I think it's going to be upwards of 80 million. I don't think it's going to be less than that. I don't think so. I think it's probably be up to like 100 million at this point. The way I'm seeing it, with two clubs going for him. So is that worth it for someone to sign someone close to that amount? Because leave that transfer request or not. We all saw that Harry Kane put in a transfer request a couple of years ago with Tottenham. Daniel Levy puts 150 million on him. So transfer requests mean nothing. As long as the player has a long contract with his parents' team, nothing he can do. He can put in the transfer request. This is not the NBA where players have power like that. Yeah, players still have power to an extent in football. However, it doesn't really affect the price. Now, your parents' club may be open to selling you, but they're not going to sell you less than the price that they want. So it will not be less for the buying club to take the plunge and pay whatever amount of money that is being asked of them. So Brighton are going to ask for the world. That is for sure. They're going to ask for the world. And I'm just looking at it. Would Arsenal pay that money? I don't think so. I don't think they will pay that money. I think they need him, but he's probably going to be a bench player. He's not going to start. Except Arsenal changes their formation, which I don't think is the right thing to do at this point in time in the season, especially trying to pursue the league title. So Arsenal have to make a decision here because it's really it's dicey for them. You can't bench any of those two guys. You can't bench any of Partey or Xhaka. So Caicedo is a very good player that can replace any of those two players in case of anything, any bad thing that happens, any injury or suspension or anything. So that guy, he can actually cover for both of them if need be. But for upwards of 80 million, I'm not sure of that. Now to Chelsea. Chelsea need him. Chelsea will probably be ready to pay that money, 100 million, want something, whatever, they'll pay it. With the way Bowley is doing things, probably pay 200 million if it's available. But And I actually think Chelsea needs him more. Chelsea actually needs someone to replace Kante. They don't have that person. They have a lot of people in the midfield or in the attacking midfield, but they don't have that kind of guy with that energy that can break up play and do all that stuff for the team. They don't have that. So actually, Chelsea needs him more. So in conclusion, I think Arsenal should go for a different option. I don't think Arsenal should pay upwards of 80 million for a player that will probably come and be a backup. I don't think so. I really do not. I think it's not a good use of money, in my opinion. I know Arsenal need a player that can actually cover for those two players, Xhaka and Partey. I know that. I'm aware of that. They really need that. The other options are useless. So they need that. I get that. But you have to go for another option. This guy is too expensive for what you need him for. As for Chelsea, Chelsea needs to sign this guy as a long-term replacement for Kante. That is my opinion on the matter. What do you guys think about this? Put it down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's Arsenal or Chelsea? I would like to know your opinion on this. Have a good one. Take care.